Liberty 9-6 win over Becca, ending close to 2 decades of frustration. Two-way lineman Will Severin proclaimed it to be the happiest day of his life. It is not just another football game. It is Liberty and Bethlehem Catholic. Hello and welcome to Bethlehem Area School District Stadium. Mike Zambelli, Jim Wills, and indeed so very much on the line here. Liberty went on to win the mythical Christmas or Bethlehem City Championship, but there's a whole lot more at stake here tonight, Jim. It starts with Lehigh Valley Conference. It goes into District 11, and of course it is Bethlehem bragging rights.
Exactly, Mike, and whatever one of those in what order, I don't know which way you can put them. That's the thing that happens here, but you're right. All three of those things very important tonight. A lot of points on the board for Becca, as we talked about a lot of times last night. Liberty on the upswing, 5-0. You know, they're really looking good in a lot of different aspects. And the bragging rights, you hear about it all year. You got people walking around here with shirts on with the score from last year. So you have all those factors involved in a big rivalry.
Tim Muntzman is the fifth-year head coach of the Hurricanes. They come in here with a sparkling 5-0 record, beat Central last week, 42-14. He's got 53 players on his rosters, and just 7 of them are seniors, 5 starters. Might be a year ahead of schedule. One of the juniors we'll see here tonight, Andrew Lee, leads the team in a number of categories, including points on the board.
He does. He has 9 receptions for over 200 yards, 45 carries for over 208 yards, and an interception. So he can do anything you want him to do. He's probably the best athlete on the team. He's really been put in a lot of different positions and has really excelled this year.
Chuck Sonnen is the head coach of the Golden Hawks. They started out 0-2, losing to 2 state powers before rebounding to win 3 in a row, most recently over Whitehall, 31-28. He's done a terrific job with his program. They're a team that continues to improve week in and week out. One of the things he's done is he's converted Corey McFadden, who was a backup quarterback, to running back, and it has really clicked their, or jump-started their offense.
It has, Mike, and we were there at his coming-out party against Emmaus that night down there in Emmaus, and he's done a great job. He has over 300-some yards on the season. Did a great job last week against a good Whitehall team. He had 125 yards last week, so he's really come out of his shell, and that's what's really keyed to play-action passing. Made it a lot easier in the passing department for them, so that's just done wonders for all around.
Well, with 5 weeks remaining in the regular season for both teams, the winner of this one will join Easton atop the Lehigh Valley Conference standing. Should be special, so very glad you could join us. Sit back and relax. Liberty takes on Bethlehem Catholic next on 2 Sports. Two teams have taken the field. You can feel the electricity in Bethlehem Area School District Stadium. It is something special, and we are so glad to have you here tonight live on 2 Sports Service Electric. Your respective head coaches, Chuck Sonnen across the way, Tim Muntzman will have his team here on this side. The Liberty will be the visitors here tonight. This is a Bethlehem Catholic home game. That's why we are here on a Saturday night. Freedom had a home game last night, so they had rights to the stadium. Regina Patuchny joined us. She's down on the sidelines. And, Reg, as I said, boy, you could just feel it. This is a big football game for these 2 programs.
That's right, Mike. You can. And down here on the field, both teams just came out, and it is crazy. It's really loud, and it seems like everyone's excited for the game. Got to talk with both coaches beforehand. Liberty said that they're going to go physical right from the start. They're going to pound it, and they're going to see if the Hawks can handle their line. They also feel that the extra day this week, since they're playing on a Saturday night, is helpful towards them, and they feel focused and ready to go. The other side, the Hawks they also are excited about the game tonight, and they say it's big, but it's always bigger than usual. And of course tonight, both teams have a lot at stake, so it's going to be pounding back and forth. Coach of the Hawks said it's going to be a dogfight, and the team with the less mistakes is going to come out with the W.
All right, thanks, Regina, and have some fun down there. Your game time conditions, 67 degrees, 70% humidity. Winds just a little bit out of the south-southwest, and the forecast is cloudy, and it'll clear as the night goes on. It is a perfect night for high school football, and the setting is set for sure. The winner of this one will stay in a first-place tie with Easton, a winner last night over Nazareth, as you look at head coach Tim Muntzman. And Jim, we talked about in the open, just 7 seniors on this team. 5 of them will see playing time here tonight. So, and you can't use this thing, you know, that they're a year ahead of time. Heck, you have to take care of business whenever you're there. This is a big opportunity for this football team.
You see tonight's officials on the board there. Referee Bob Andrews, umpire Gary Briner, head linesman Herb Burrell, line judge Fran Felchak, and back judge Pat Petroni. You're right, Mike. There's a lot on stake here tonight. The situation is, you're right, you can't wait. You can't sit around and say, well, we're going to be good next year. It's not about that anymore. It's about being good now. It's about getting the job done now. Both teams, Bethlehem Catholic, coming out of that big hole, that big foxhole they dug for themselves, coming back here with 3 straight wins. Liberty not being beaten all year long. And it's just going to see what just plays out for a great situation here tonight at the stadium.
All right, looked like Liberty won the toss there and deferred there to get the ball to the second half. So it will be Becca getting the first touch. The Golden Hawks at 3-2 opened the year losing to North Hills 34-0. North Penn of Lansdale, the defending 4A state champs, 10-0. And then rebounded to knock off a now 5-1 Emmaus team, 14-9. Down to Allen, 37-14. And Whitehall, 31-28 last week. For Liberty High School, their best start since the 1970 team. Opened 5-0. Pleasant Valley, they beat them 27-0. They beat Allen 24-17. Bureau 49-29. Parkland 3-0. And Allentown Central Catholic last week 42-14. So one common opponent for the two squads. That is Allen. Becca beat them 37-14, while Allen took Liberty into overtime and before losing 24, to 17. Jim, obviously, Regina talked with both coaches, mistakes. You know, it's a kind of football game that little things can get blown out of proportion. The littlest thing could be the difference in winning and losing a football game.
Great point, Mike, because you get too upset about the little things. You got to just go with the flow, make sure you're going to get right back into the ball game.
Jonathan Mills set to kick it off. Gary Bailey, number 20, and number 23, Dave Pullen, right outside the 10-yard line. And I believe that was 21 Bailey on the return. As we get a look tonight at our Apgar Oil starting lineup for Becca, Alex Atia, ever improving at quarterback. McFadden, Bishop, Skatine, Hoder, Newell, he's banged up a little bit. Kushner, Marabito, Fantasia, Dancho, and Labar, both injured a little bit as well, but will go here this evening. Your Apgar Oil starting lineup. Alex Atia brings them up under center. 6'4", 205-pound sophomore, and they'll keep it on the ground, and here is McFadden with space. Nice open field tackle, but not before McFadden has positive yards. Brendan Van Ackeren on the stop, picking up where he left off last year. That is he at the top, the team's one of their leader in tackles. Rivera, Lee, Ruyak, Morales, Jarnigan, McLaren, Wadi, Korpix, Sterner, and Will Severin, number 68 and D, proclaimed it last year to be the happiest day of his life. He'll be looking for another shining moment here tonight by game's end. He's a good one, a 3-year starter in this Liberty program. Atia's first pass, had some time, runs out of it very quickly, slips a couple of tackles and maybe added a yard or two. It's going to bring up 3rd and short.
Well, it's going to be a big factor here tonight for Liberty to get pressure on Atia. You see number 52 there, Andres Morales, going to be one of the key people for Liberty. And in Atia's situation, he's going to have to make sure he makes those reads quickly. He's not going to get a lot of time back there because of the pressure from the Hurricanes. He's done a better job in the past couple of weeks with that, getting more comfortable with the Hawks and their offense.
He's now completed 44 of 87, shade over 50% for 638 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has suffered 5 interceptions coming early. Familiar figure of Chuck Sonnen, head coach of the Golden Hawks. 3rd down, they need 3. They'll keep it on the ground, and they've got it. McFadden slips a tackle and has it out across the 45. Heck of a start for Corey McFadden, brought down by number 54, Mike McLaren.
Credit that line there with Matt Kushner and Joe Dancho doing a nice job of opening up a nice hole there. And the inside, you're going to see the hole is opened up very quickly, and you're going to see when he runs right through there. That is a nice job of blocking by that offensive line. One of us, when you look at Chuck Sonen's coach teams, Mike, offensive line, very, very important, does a great job with them.
Well, he served as the offensive line coach under former head coach Bob Stem. Here's McFadden once again, trying to stretch the defense, turns the corner and takes a good hit on the outside. That's Van Ackeren again. This Brendan Van Ackeren is a heck of a football player.
Only 165 pounds, but he throws every pound he's got at you, and you know when you get hit. You're going to see him as they're spreading them out. They're going down the line, and all of a sudden he comes up, doesn't fear anyone, and you can see the result.
Gain of maybe 2. McFadden again, this time not much running room over the left side. Hawks will be faced with another third down conversion. They have converted 33% on the year, 18 of 55. Andres Morales on the tackle. Morales, good size, good speed.
It'll be a big call here early for offensive coordinator Dan Kendra.
And they'll keep it on the ground. McFadden forced to the outside. He lost a yard. Number 52, Morales, once again. He's a 6'2", 255-pound junior.
So you're going to see Morales coming right in through there. And as he takes that one big step and does a nice job of corralling McFadden early.
Nate Hoder on to punt it away. Van Akron stands at his own 15-yard line. And breaking through there and nearly getting a piece of that was number 34, Andrew Lee. Van Akron wrapped up and spun around just shy of the 25-yard line. We'll get our first look at the Liberty offense. Sal Crivellaro on the tackle. Dan Percy's only a sophomore, but is he a good one? Matt Sterner, Van Akron, Lee Ruyak, Zumas, Korpix, Severin, a two-way starter, Bauer, McLaren, and Waddy, your starting 11 for the Hurricanes offensively. Percy, 27 of 54 on the year, 5 TDs, 561 yards. And our first flag of the game. Perhaps a little too revved up. False start against Liberty, so they'll have to start it from 1st and 15. First of 2 here tonight. Saturday night specials. Whitehall Central coming your way this evening. Sterner, the split backs behind quarterback Dan Persa. Sterner on the carry. That was Sterner on the carry. Wrapped up defensively by Beck Kushner, who is having some kind of football season. 6'4", 255-pound senior. Leads the team in sacks defensively. Skatine, McFadden, Cacciatore, Crivellaro, Rice, Lucent, Bishop, Kushner, Newell, Dancho, and Labar. So Dancho and Labar going both ways, and we'll see how they hold up. Persa looking for somewhere to go. Good patience, and dumped it and completes it to Van Akron, who gets it up across the 30, and they'll be faced with a third and a short situation. Brought down defensively by Kushner once again.
You see Dan Persa getting the play in from Coach Matt Seneca. You see the pressure coming in, but you tell that Persa takes his time and then gets hit at the end, but nice job for the sophomore as he gets hit by number 54 there going down, Mike Labar, but gets that pass off and completes it to Van Akron.
Mike Bishop, the team leader in tackles for Rebecca. Matt Kushner right behind. Close to 47 of them on the season. He's got a couple here already. Persa with all kinds of time. Now buys a little more. Going downfield, that is some coverage by that Golden Hawk secondary. Dan Persa had forever to look over that secondary, and they hung in there very nice.
You're right, but kudos to that secondary. They did a great job of having everybody locked up back there. Made Persa throw that one deep in desperation. You're going to see, look at this wall right in here. The protection. He got a lot of protection, has to roll out to the outside, being chased by Kushner, but gets that pass off to no avail.
Marcus Repsher on the punt it away. High end over end. Lands just in front of McFadden and is down there by the Hurricanes. So each team with a possession. And Becker will try it for the second time. Tonight's football game being brought to you by T-Mobile. We have been an employer for over 8 years here in the Lehigh Valley. Excellent crowd looking for, they'll probably wind up with close to 8, 9, maybe even 10,000 here. The Liberty side's just about filled, and they're still filing in. There's still a line outside trying to get some tickets for this one, and not surprising. Tia play action, lofting it downfield, and that one's intercepted. It is Van Akron with the pick at the 50. Brendan Van Akron, they have been very opportunistic. A +11 in the giveaway takeaway ratio on the year. And for Van Akron, I believe that is his team. I think that's his 3rd interception of the year.
You're going to see that Tia gets some good time back there, but a little pressure from Rouse finally at the end, but they just throw it out there. Van Akron, a great baseball player, well, playing center field, does a nice job, threw it right into his hands. Good job, you know, they've got a new coach back there in Bo Orlando, 10-year NFL veterans, gives them a lot of different coverages back there, confusing a lot of people in the quarterback position.
Well, Van Akron gets the carry here now on offense. That is his 2nd interception of the year. 8th as a team for Liberty, through obviously this being the early going in their 6th game. He has returned one for a touchdown. And you saw some good student body support there by Liberty High School. Becca with the same across the way. Just a terrific atmosphere here tonight. Gain of 3 on 1st down. Ball resting at the Becca 34-yard line. Sterner. Stopped after a 2-yard gain. Let's go to Regina Protection.
Thanks, Mike. And as you're talking about the student sections here, actually the Liberty students came in at 6:15 already tonight. They were already chanting then during the warm-ups, and they're all still going. And Becca's over there as well. They're chanting too. They're actually chanting overrated back and forth. So actually we're going to see what happens tonight.
Yes, we will. There you got to look at it. I don't know that we can throw it in the Red Rover or Eastern Nation kind of deal yet, but that's pretty exciting, Jim Wells.
That's good stuff, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, it's good that they're competing with the Rover Nation to try to get up there with them.
Van Akron hit behind the line of scrimmage and goes down under a swarm of Golden Hawk defenders.
Defensive coordinator Jason Roeder has his defense playing very, very well. After the first 2 weeks, they took their lumps, but boy, starting with that Emmaus game, they've really started to come on, and he's done a nice job of having people in the right place, good coverages, and they've played some excellent defense for him so far this year.
Kyle Newell, big number 84.
So Jason right there at the sidelines.
Newell on the defensive stop. So after the Van Akron interception, Liberty lines up in punt formation and will play field position. So very important in a contest like this. Webster gets it. That's actually fair caught at the 5. That's a mental mistake. That's Mark Scatine back there. Jim, we've talked about, you know, special teams. You want to set yourself up at the 10, or at least that's the way they used to teach you to do it. And if it goes inside the 10, you let it go. Last night in the Lehigh Valley Conference, Allen surprising Parkland 24-18. Easton remains unbeaten 27-7 over Nazareth. Durham a tough loss against Emmaus in double overtime. Green Hornets prevailed 28-21 in Northampton on this field here at 35-14 over Freedom. Later tonight, Whitehall Central Capital. Kyle Newell is split wide left. And they hand it to McFadden. He's been in space a couple of times already here this evening.
Well, it's no secret, Mike, what Becker wants to do when they put Newell way out there. That gives him a lot of attention. You're going to see that he's, Newell's out in this period here, so that takes everybody out. He comes right up the field, does a nice job, and Van Akron finishes it up there. But that's what gives McFadden that ability. When you see Newell, they're going to give him that more of a look on the outside, so you got a lot of attention out there to come back up through the middle.
Van Akron, another tackle. Joe Dancho, one of a number of solid blocks along that line of scrimmage, and it goes for a Becker first down as they will just try and improve their field position. Keep it on the ground once again. That's the fullback. Number 46, Telly Klados.
Klados has come on well for them the past couple of weeks. Scored a touchdown. We saw him down at Emmaus, scored a touchdown, scored one last week.
On the year, 14 carries, 48 yards. And And as you mentioned, Jim, a couple of touchdowns. Still no score. Both teams jockeying for position. Becca now, after that turnover, getting the worst of the field position. McFadden spun around. Well, that's going to be perhaps a yard shy of a first down. We'll bring up another third down. Mike McLaren, two-way starter, 6'2", 225-pound junior on the stop.
McLaren doing a good job from that middle linebacker position there. Following in the footsteps of his brother. Saw him on TV the other night. Linebacker at Navy doing a great job. Navy having an excellent season. Going against Notre Dame next week.
Awesome stuff in it. See these youngsters compete at the next level. And I'll tell you, McFadden gets the call again, and he will not get the first down. He's going to lose a yard, maybe two, on third down. And after gaining a first down, Becca will have to give up the football once again. Andres Morales leading that hurricane charge.
You're going to see that they're not getting anything inside, Mike. They're getting that charge, and Morales just comes in, lays that shoulder down, and that's where the rest of his teammates come in and help him out. So the Lions are not producing those holes on those third down conversions.
Hoder a good one, and he nails a beauty. Majestic against the midnight or the sky here. As it turns over Van Ackeren, a solid return up across the 40. But Hoder bombed that one as it got it to turn over. And that's just what the Hawks needed. Liberty will still have good field position. Once again, tonight's ball game brought to you by T-Mobile. Currently, we employ over 1,000 employees in our inbound call center here in Allentown. First and 10, Liberty. Becca has a couple of first downs. Liberty still looking for their first, and maybe not for long. Andrew Lee squeezes it across midfield and appears to have enough for the first down. Crivellaro on the tackle.
Good job by Crivellaro getting that tackle, but not before Lee gets some good yardage there on the first down. Lee, we talked about in the open mic, done a good job this year. Well over 200 yards in the rushing capacity. And really, they can put him in any position. He's very athletic. He can put him all over the field and plays well at any position.
Well, you know, the good thing about Liberty this year, you know, last week they rushed for over 300 yards, didn't have one back over 100. So they do it with a multiple look. Here's Sterner, who has had a solid year as well, as he pulls his way and gets it inside the Golden Hawk 40-yard line. Well, they have a number of athletes who are chipping in at this 5-0 start.
Well, we talked about being at McFadden's coming out party down in Emmaus. We were also at Sterner's coming out party. As they're coming right down the field, you see a lot of people get bowled over, including a couple people back there. Number 6 taking a shot in the back there, Skatine at the end. But we were up there when Sterner came out in that Parkland game, Mike, and he had a tremendous game against Parkland.
If my memory serves me right, he was Oyako's player of the game. And it's back-to-back first down. Sterner gets the call again and has running room. Big fullback. Rumbling down to the 30. That's a gain of 7. Eventually brought down by John Henritzy now in the ball game, number 13. Reserve tight end and linebacker. 5'11", 205. He's a senior. Time running quickly here in the first quarter, down to 1:20, still no score. Liberty's had the best of the field position, but has been unable to cash in. On a pretty good drive here, and here's Lee, cuts it in behind 2 wonderful blocks, and has a first down to the BC 15-yard line.
The first block you're going to see is 7, just pancaking somebody on the outside, and then followed by the right side of that offense. You're going to see, look at number 16. Now look at that block right there. There's the first pancake. Then you're going to see 2 good blocks right here downfield, and it really did a nice job of putting their people where they needed to be. Running a lot from behind the right side of that offensive line, Mike McLaren, Alex Waddy.
Purser remains up under center. And they go to Lee, and this time he finds no running room. Number 44, John Lucen, and number 33, Mike Bishop.
You talked about Bishop, Mike. You see how fast these guys just shoot that gap. Boy, they're in there very, very quickly. And a nice job by Bishop. You talked about him before, how he's a great leader on this defensive front.
Loss of 1 on first down. Canes have moved the football here. without attempting a pass. And they'll keep it on the ground. Sterner bounces to the outside. Then picks up the one they lost plus 5 more. They'll be faced with a 3rd down and about 5. And I think that might be the final play of the first quarter. As time ticks off the Bethlehem Area School District Stadium clock, we have played 1. Still looking for our first points of the game. No score as of yet, but as we welcome you back for the start of the second quarter, Liberty on the move. Let's go down on the field with Regina Patuchny.
Thanks, Mike. And as Liberty's on the move, Coach Munchman said before the game that they like that extra day of practice. They're used to playing Friday nights, but tonight they're doing it on a Saturday night. On the other hand, the Becca Golden Hawks have played 4 different times this season. They played Friday night games, Saturday morning games, Saturday afternoon games, and of course Saturday night games. They're just because of the different schedule and the hurricanes that we've had and the bad weather, they've gotten in all different times this year, and he says it hasn't affected their team.
On 3rd and 5, they'll keep it on the ground to Sterner. He plows forward for maybe 2 of the 5. And now decision time for Tim Munchman. Their field goal kicker, Jonathan Mill, has converted twice this year. And I think he's going to get an opportunity here. Of course, one of those kicks was all they needed in beating Parkland, winning that football game 3-0. He has 11 extra points on the year.
No will attempt a field goal.
Going to spot this one at the 15. So it will be a 25-yard effort, and he didn't hit it well. He hit it low. And it is blocked, and the Hurricanes will come up empty. Looked like he rushed it, Jim. I don't know that the ball was down in time, and I think he was a little anxious.
Well, you know, Mike, and this is just pure speculation, but I saw Kyle Newell moving down that line, and right away, if you see that guy coming down there, you know he's going to go up in the air, and he tried to rush it a little bit, maybe, and he just hit it too low. You can see where his stance is there, really too low on that one, Mike, and that's just not going to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like he was a little anxious. He was there before the plant. It was kind of bang when he was there, and I think he was just a little anxious to get after it. The things that
no loft on it.
Yeah, the things that this kind of rivalry does to you. So it remains a scoreless tie. Here's McFadden, and he'll be tripped up. Fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage. Oscar Rivera, number 21, leading the defensive charge. Yeah, we're getting to this time of the year, Jim. October. Rivalries will become more intense. And as we mentioned in the open, you throw in the importance of this one. And, you know, both teams with District 11 aspirations. And we'll go over that before the night is over. 3A, there were a lot of teams that got beat this weekend, including Pottsville. So there's a great opportunity, not just for Becca here tonight, but over at ASD Stadium, both Whitehall and Central. Berwick was beaten this afternoon.
A lot of opportunities are going to be provided here for the Lehigh Valley teams. You got to take advantage of that opportunity. That's why when you talk about tonight, Becca, there are a lot of points on the board here tonight for them.
Yeah, 170 of them. Because you get power points, and of course with Liberty being a 4A school and being unbeaten, there's a lot of points on the table there. Berwick lost today to a very good Bishop McDevitt team. Pottsville lost last night to Muhlenberg 24-21. So Jim Thorpe, the only one of the top 3 there, if you will, to win. Atia looking over the middle, intended for Skatine, broken up by number 88, Brian Ruyat, but now a penalty marker comes in.
First time we saw Alex Atia out of the shotgun there.
Interference against Liberty.
The call you caught right away.
Oh, that's awfully tough call. Bang play. Wow, that tough break in a big football game there. Yeah, that's going to give Becca a first down too. Well, like we said a little while ago, Jim, you know, the little things are magnified in games of, you know, this importance. Officials do a terrific job, and, you know, more often than not, get it right. And in that situation, I think that's a call that they'd like to have over. 1st and 10, Golden Hawks. Inside handoff this time to number 40 is Sal Crivellaro. And Crivellaro, a nice job of finding a way, finding an opening off that left side, and he moves it up there to 40.
Good job in misdirection by the Hawks that time. Trying to get that offensive flow going. Coach Kendra on the sideline setting those plays in. Nice fake inside as they see, and they're going to go outside. Number 80 gets his hands on him there, John Corpix, but can't take him in. Good job by Crivellaro.
Well, according to their stat sheet, that's the first carry of the year for Crivellaro. He's going to get another one. Yeah, it has a first down. This Sal Crivellaro is a starter at quarterback, 5'8", 175-pound senior. They'll alternate their fullbacks. Number 41 now coming in is Matt Bishop. He's the starter. Well, nice effort again. And Crivellaro getting some congratulations as he retreats back to the bench. More and more, Jim, is, you know, this is such a physical and demanding game. You know, you really need a stable of running backs. And here's a good one to center them all around. McFadden tripped up and about the line of scrimmage falls forward for a gain of 1.
You're right, Mike. Very few times can you put all your eggs in one basket anymore, because, you know, the physicalness of people getting stronger, quicker, getting to the ball faster. The hits are harder. You know, you need a couple of people back there. And they've been rotating some running backs, as we saw earlier in the year when we did them against Emmaus. They were playing a couple of different backs, trying to find something. That's when McFadden came out.
Quarterback Alex Atia had a pretty good chat with Dan Kendra prior to the game, and he's very pleased with the way this young man is progressing. His mechanics getting better, and as a result, they're playing winning football games. Here's the All-State candidate, and they want to try and get him involved. But boy, he used his athleticism to go up and get that one. First down, BC, complete to Kyle Newell.
Well, that's the ability you have when you have him out here. He can go way up in the air, and that's the thing that you know, people know that, teams know it, but you can't stop it because of his athletic ability sometimes.
Newell tied with Cacciatore for the team lead coming into the game, both with 12 receptions. Skatine's a guy to really keep your eye on. He has 7 receptions, but totaling 171 yards. He's a big playmaker, including a 46-yarder and last week against Whitehall. They'll keep it on the ground as the Golden Hawks now starting to get some good balance. Number 46 on the carry was Klados.
Well, they're rotating those guys in, Klados being one of them that I've told you scored a couple times. You know, this guy really has gotten a lot of confidence since we've seen him the last time at T. You can see he's a lot more friendly with the offense. You know, like they say with computers, Mike, user-friendly the same way he is with this offense. Yeah. You know, he's gotten more confident, and, you know, they ask a lot of their quarterbacks.
Yes.
He's been, you know, doing a good job of it lately.
Well, the little things, too, that are big things when you're within the system. The footwork. Watch how nice he's getting. You know, he said he's getting a deeper drop. Under some good duress there as he just barely got that one out of there. Matt Sterner, now a defensive end, and he laid a pretty good lick on Alex Atia.
We talked about protection's going to be needed, and that's the thing. You can't be getting those guys coming from the blind side and getting your quarterback.
Atia now will operate from the shotgun on 3rd down and 8. Looking to set up a screen. It's there. They have the numbers. Look out. Here's McFadden. He's got a first down near the 30. Wonderful play call by the Golden Hawks staff, and it picks up a first down.
Danny Kendra, one of the best at calling those plays. He just had everybody suckered in. Good job. McFadden stayed there. Nice blocking up front. Atia, as we said, might just get more and more comfortable. Did a nice job in that nice little touch out to the outside.
Well, and again, to pick up on that conversation, the proper drop, getting good depth when you're going 7 steps, make sure you get back there, and it all leads to good timing. And watching him here after seeing him against the Mays, he is more polished. He's handling the ball a lot better. This, of course, a very impressive drive for the Golden Hawks. Keep it on the ground. McFadden once again on the carry, wrapped up by Morales.
The finest French fries.
Time ticking away here in the second period. 6:28 to go in the second quarter.
Still no score. Winner once again will join Easton atop the standings. Keep it on the ground once again. No running room this time for Kledos. And they'll be faced with another third down. They've been pretty good on this drive on those third down conversions. Michael Souders, reserve tight end on offense. In there now at defensive end to make the tackle. Number 89. Atia to throw on third down. Looking for Newell, and he's got him. The big wide receiver's got the completion inside the 15-yard line.
That's where that big size helps you, Mike, when you get him on the sideline. Nice job, Atia, floating that ball out there. Good pass protection this time. He floats that one out there. Newell, nice catch, brings it in.
Decisive throw by Alex Atia as well. Second catch of the drive for Newell, and it's a third down conversion once again. Football spotted at the Liberty 14-yard line. They'll go to McFadden, and he has an opening on the left side. Another good open field tackle. Boy, that play looked like it was going to go for 6. And number 21, I believe it was, Rivera, may have prevented a touchdown.
And here's Oscar Rivera, only a sophomore, 5'9" and 155. Excellent job on the outside. You can tell they're very well schooled, going down low. Very much not the top, trying to go for those shoulder pad tackles. We're going down low.
Well, Jim, that's pretty neat to watch. You have 2 teams here. They've combined to win 8 football games in a row. And, there's good fundamental. There's good tackling. There's good blocking. And, that's what makes for a really good football game. And we're seeing it here tonight. Still no score. Golden Hawks on the move. And slipping behind the line of scrimmage was McFadden. Dan Kendra, of course, Chuck Son. Chuck, a one-time assistant coach here in his coaching career at Liberty High School. On the staff with you, Jim?
Yes, he was. That's when I was the strength coach here. He was on the staff with G. Heffernan's. Very successful. Eastern Conference champions under his tutelage from the offensive line and the offensive coordinator. With that Mike Kowski. Familiar.
Yes, absolutely. That's right. Won that football game at Northampton. I believe it was, wasn't it? Skatine, the reception, and he's got it down near the 5-yard line, and it is going to be decision time, I think. Let's see where they spot it. Van Akron, as we listen in, on the head. Well, Van Akron's just a good football player, isn't he? Good athlete. Well, the Hawks have it, 4th and 1. And it looks like they will go. Liberty had it in this position just a little while ago down at the other end of the field, and now a timeout.
They're going to want to talk about it a little bit.
Charge this one to the Golden Hawks. Hoder, their kicker, has 1 field goal on the year. He has attempted just the 1. Once again, want to thank T-Mobile for sponsoring tonight's football game. We are the 5th largest wireless carrier at the present time. T-Mobile, phone number on the screen right there. Speak with an employment recruiter. 8 a.m. to midnight. www.tmobile.com/jobs. Major League Baseball update. The Yankees 5, Twins 5. They're now in the 8th. I tell you, when you have a championship team, they don't go away easy, did they, Jim? Teams that are used to it is amazing. I had an opportunity to see a Yankee-Red Sox game a couple of weeks ago. I shared it with you. I'll share it with our viewers at home. They beat the Red Sox 11-1, and I mean, it's just they go about business. They are just so confident, and you can see it. I mean, they go into them games expecting to win them, and that's what's neat about what we're seeing on this field here tonight, and where I think the biggest improvement has been made in this Liberty program. They expect to win these football games, and of course, Becca has been there for quite some time. Big play coming up here. 4th down, they need 1. They'll go to McFadden, and he appears to have it. Looked like that line surge was enough to get it there. We'll wait officially. And indeed it is a 1st down. 1st and goal, Bethlehem Catholic looking to break a scoreless tie with 3:29 to go for first half.
Kudos to the offensive line, doing a nice job opening up those holes, giving them exactly what they need. That left side with Kushner and number 54 in there, Mike Labar, doing a good job.
That McFadden? It is not. It's number 20 they go to, Gary Bailey, and we've got our first score of the game. Bailey's first carry of the game. He has 29 of them on the year for 53 yards. It is his first touchdown of the season. Nate Hoder, who has made 9 of his 10 extra points on the year. The holder is Matt Check. And there's a penalty marker down as the kick is good. The kick is good. I think they have a running into or a roughing the kicker, either or.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker.
It is against Liberty, and that will mean that the kick remains the point is good, and the penalty will be assessed on the kickoff, and that's a rule change within. I don't know if it's just this year, within the last couple of years.
Good side blocking, and this you see in here, Mike. Great job inside. Look at the holes they're opening up. People are looking to block people. That's when you know your offensive line is really doing some good work.
Well, Mike Labar, one of those men young men that we talked about, a two-way starter at guard and right defensive tackle, throw a good block in there. 18 plays, 80 yards, time of possession 8:46. Bailey from a couple of yards out. They don't come much prettier than that. 3rd down conversions along the way. They mix the pass and run beautifully. A vintage Bethlehem Catholic drive for 6 points.
Good job by the offensive line. Kudos to that line. They're doing a good job opening the holes they need to do. They got that important 4th down when they needed to get it. And Atia looking more and more comfortable with their quarterback position.
Fast-moving first half here, and it's already down to 3:11. Moravian a winner again this afternoon. Congratulations to Scott Dapp and those Greyhounds. Now 5-0.
First time since the 70s. Start with a 5-0 record.
A lot of good stuff happening here in this block here between this stadium and Steel Field. It's the first time since 1970 that Liberty's had this kind of start. So that penalty allows Becca to kick it into the end zone touchback. Once again, thanking T-Mobile. We are the only truly global wireless carrier in the current industry, offering service to over 80 countries. T-Mobile and all their information, including their website, 877-300-JOBS. Persa out of that wing T set goes downfield. and it's in and out of the hands of Ruyak and intercepted. This is Skatine to the 20. He's still on his feet. There are markers down as he dives down near the 5, and we'll wait and see what the markers are about. You would assume, Jim, that this is going to be maybe against Becca for maybe an illegal block.
That's what I was thinking downfield.
On the return.
Skatine doing a good job in that secondary, being in the right place at the right time. That ball just a little high off the hands of Ruyak. You're going to see it here. He gets that pass off just right off his fingertips. Hey, and he was wide open too as well.
Actually, I think, was that Corpix that was intended? That was Corpix that was intended for him. You know, it's funny, Jim. You know, some of the things that Liberty has done, they, you know, missed field goal leading to, you know, an 80-yard drive. And, you know, I think Corpix would like to have another opportunity to catch that ball over the middle. I don't know that that was that poorly thrown ball. And you get some bad bounces. So far in this game, the ball bouncing BC's way, if you will, taking advantage. Skatine the interception. And a great opportunity here to add to a 7-0 lead.
The holding penalty now will put the ball down on the 28-yard line. Another golden opportunity for the Golden Hawks.
Very good. I like it. They'll keep it on the ground. That is Crivellaro nowhere to go.
Jarnigan in there on the stop, along with Morales.
Becca 11 rushes, 24 yards, 7 passes for 56 yards. That is quite a drive. That was the balance they had on that last possession. Golden Hawks have been very good in the giveaway takeaway category.
Timeout called by the Golden Hawks staff. Get that feeling, Mike. Coach Kendra's got one of those plays in his pocket, boy. You know, I'm waiting for him to come out with one of those ones we saw in the Frank Travada, you know, those Martell days. You know, he's got one of those hidden away somewhere.
This week in the Colonial League, Bangor continues their winning way, keeping pace with front-running Saucon Valley and Northern Lehigh. The Panthers a winner by 20. Palisades looking to have that second winning season in school history. What a year they're having, 35-0. Penn Argyl a winner and Northern Lehigh. So it'll be Northern Lehigh, Saucon Valley for outright first place. Earlier today, Wilson knocks off Northwestern 41-14. I believe that's 3 down in a row for Northwestern. The Tigers are reeling. Let's go down to Regina Potechny.
Thanks, Mike and Jim. And as you know, the coaches both said before the game that this is going to be a dogfight, a physical game, and the team with less mistakes will come out with the W. And as for the first half, we're seeing that all those things are coming true. Liberty had some turnovers and some tough calls. Becca's being physical and they're just getting the job done, but it's still being a great dogfight.
Atia complete downfield to Newell. That ball actually underthrown. Newell made a good adjustment on it.
You can see Newell come back here. Look at his athleticism. He comes back there, knows he's got to stop to pick that ball up. Nice job by Kyle Newell.
Yeah, Rivera in coverage there really never saw that football. He was scrambling back to get there with Newell. That's 3 catches for the big guy. Leads the team, or was tied for the team lead, with Skatine coming in that category. McFadden on the sweep. Little or no gain, actually lost yardage, I believe. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Matt Sterner in pursuit.
Good pursuit that time by the Liberty defense.
Well, this is a big series here. This is a big sequence. 1:17 remain first half. Atia on 2nd down and 10. Looking towards Newell and overthrows. Good coverage out there. Rivera at 5'9". Newell at 6'5". Golden Hawks trying to take advantage of that, and that's something they try and do every game. I have yet to see a corner around here that would match up size-wise with big number 84. That's long there.
It'd be tough to see him around a state, Mike.
Well, exactly, and that's good coaching by Becca. You want to take advantage of that. Newell slowed earlier this year, had high ankle sprain. Being dogged right now with an injured shoulder, but appears to be okay. He's in the slot to the left of quarterback Alex Attia. Penalty marker on the play. Against Becca.
Well, they went to the shotgun once again. Sometimes those things happen out of the shotgun.
.103 remaining first half. Becca leading 7-0. And now it will bring up a 3rd and 15. Newell out in the slot left. Dylan Ketchator is wide left. And it is Attia on the quarterback delay. He is inside the 10 and very close to a first down.
Well, one of the reasons I was circling that slot again is because that spreads the field out, because now you got the whole field spread out, and look at the hole right there in the middle. That's what happens when you have the Newells, and you can use them as a decoy and put them on the outside.
Well, and with the success of that play, there's still time. There's 30 seconds now and counting. It looks like Becca is going to opt to kick a field goal. Clock continues to run, and now they will stop it. Once again, thanking the fine folks at T-Mobile. Our team members are eligible for a comprehensive benefits package. Call for employment hotline at T-Mobile, 877-300-JOBS. Speak with an employment recruiter 8 a.m. to midnight. www.tmobile.com/jobs. Chuck Sonnen, a Reading High School grad in Lehigh University. Coached some at Lehigh University as well. Former head coach at Emmaus. This is his second term as the head coach at Bethlehem Catholic.
That's what was interesting, Michael. We had the staff of Richie Heffernan. You had both Wayne Grube and Chuck Sonnen, two ex-Lehigh. And they'd sit around talking about Coach Whitehead stories. That was some of the favorite days.
Yeah, Coach Whitehead was an icon in the Lehigh Valley. So with 16 seconds, Hoder, who is 1 for 1 on field goals, check once again the holder. It has plenty of distance, and it has the accuracy. So the Liberty turnover cost them 3. And it runs the first half clock down to 10 seconds. So Hoder the field goal now 2 for 2 this year. And more importantly, the Hawks have opened up a 10-0 lead. Looking at that District 11 3A standings, Pottsville a loser last night. Jim Thorpe did win to improve to 6-0. They are in a sub-region with District 2. Now Berwick, I mentioned, lost, so they're now 5-1. Wyoming area lost. They're 4-2. Honesdale did win to improve to 6-0. At 3-2 right now and 170 points for a win here. If Becca can get it, that'll move them right into the thick of those District 11 standings. And again, in those sub-regionals, each district is guaranteed at least 1 spot, which means in each district you can only have maximum of 3. You can get up to 3 qualify within a district. Coming into this one, none of the local 3A schools would have been in, as Pottsville, coming into the weekend, had the lone spot for District 11. Here's Lee looking for some running room, found a little bit. And the clock shows 1 second. Time perhaps for Dan Persa to air it out. No difference in the game so far. Becca's ability to cash in on a turnover. Plus, they completed the long drive they went on. Liberty's drive fizzled when they got it inside the 5. Purcell will take a knee.
Flag on the play.
Hold on a minute. Well, Becca had 12 players on the field. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah. It's a way to get it done. Officials right on top of it. Count them up. All 12 of them are still out there. Half cannot end on a defensive penalty. Declined, they'll head to the locker room. We've played a half, 10-0, Bethlehem Catholic. Well, let's take a look at some first half highlights, Jim. And, you know, a lot of defense in this football game early for sure. Van Akron with the interception. And this gave Liberty a great opportunity early in the game, but they couldn't cash it in as the Becca defense would stiffen. And there you get a look at some of the good defensive plays as well. Big turning point here. There you see it. And I really think, you know, Mills was just a little anxious, you know, and Becca took advantage of it. This is a terrific drive with a great mix of passing and running, and Bailey capped it in for the first marker of the football game and took off about 8 minutes off the clock. And, you know, that's the way you frustrate an opponent. There may be a very catchable football. It goes as an interception. And then a tee on the quarterback delay that gave them an opportunity if they wanted to think about maybe going for a first down there. They opted to go for the field goal, lead at 10-0. 6 more first downs, 4 more pass completions. Look at the difference in passing yards. Absolutely, just, you know, 1 completion right there. You know, rushing yards fairly close, but, you know, the penalties down here as well. I don't, you know, 10-0. I think credit has to go to Becca. You know, I don't know that might not be the best half of football that they have played all year long, Jim.
Oh, I totally agree, Mike. And very opportunistic. Take advantage of the breaks you're given. You know, they get that interception there the second time. They drive down the field. They get a nice job at 4th and 1. They've converted that on the 4th down. Done a real good job.
Well, when we left, you know, we said that the half couldn't end on a defensive penalty, and we were right. So here's what happened after we left. We got it on tape for you. Dan Purcell did air out that arm, and coverage down there. Skatine was in the neighborhood along with number 10, Matt Check. So that is officially the way the half ended. We didn't want you to be cheated at home because it is something special. Let's go down now to Regina Patuchny. Reg?
Thanks. I'm here with head coach from Becca. What'd you tell the half? Yeah, your team at half.
Well, we just said, hey, we played 24 minutes. We've won the first half. That doesn't mean anything. It's a 48-minute football game. You know, the other thing that we're doing is they're slaying a lot to our wing and things of that nature. So we're going to try and go back and hit some of the things back to the split end side. So
thanks. Sounds good. Good luck second half, coach.
By the possessions, and it was kind of a, you know, feeling out process early. 3 and a punt, 3 and a punt. 7 in that blocked field goal, thwarting the best Liberty effort. 1 in an interception and 1.5. So when you look at that, Jim, because of how well Becca moved the ball, not a lot of plays, didn't get a lot of opportunities. Hawks started and, you know, moved the ball a little bit. 6 and a punt, 1 the interception, 4 and a punt. But this, you know, 18 plays and a touchdown, that's a thing of beauty. You don't see a lot of that.
Well, and a lot of this comes out of that area there, that blocked field goal, Mike. You know, that's a momentum swinger, and that's what happened. You know, you go out there and you see, you know, you don't get anything out of that drive when they drove deep into Becca territory.
Yep.
That's what happened.
You're right. Here is what transpired right here after that blocked field goal. So give credit to the Golden Hawks. They lead at 10-0. Liberty will get the football to start the second half, and you just get the sense, Jim, that you know, probably mentally, and, you know, this could be a very big possession here in the start this second half of the football game.
Oh, no doubt about it. You got to come out and establish something. I'm sure that was addressed at halftime. Coach Stonen, as we heard him talk to Regina when he came out, they're going to try to put the ball a little bit more in the air, it sounds like, go to that opposite side. Coach Monsman, I'm sure, addressed the offensive line and told them they got to start doing some things, and they're probably going to open up a little bit more offensively themselves.
Jim, you've been around this school district for quite some time. As we talked about, you coached here at Liberty High School. There's some kind of atmosphere. This has to bring back memories of days gone by. There has to be in excess of 10,000 people here tonight.
Yeah, I could really see, Mike, that live TV has really hurt the crowd. And that's the first thing I was thinking about. You know, everybody stayed home and watched it. But you know, that's the thing you got to look at. It's a great crowd. You know,
it really is.
It really is. And it's just a tribute to all the people. It's a great rivalry. It's great football. Everybody's going to go home. You know, one's a loser and one's a winner, but really everybody's a winner because they came out and supported these kids tonight, and that's what's important.
Well, Jim, you bring it up, you know, and there is some talk about, you know, us sometimes hurting Gates, and I think when there's foul weather, I think there's some validity to it. But on nights like tonight, I think we add to the atmosphere here, and it is electric. It's going to be interesting now. This is, you know, this is a Liberty football team that is 5-0. And see how they can rejuvenate themselves. See what has to be done here in the second half. Obviously, there you got to look at the Liberty side. I mean, there's not a seat to be found there. Awesome stuff, the way high school football is meant to be. Beckel will be kicking off, moving from your right to left.
You know, we always talk about this too, Mike. These kids are, you know, a lot of them are friends with each other. You know, it's not a situation where we have hate and all that kind of nonsense. You know, it's a good, clean game. Everybody gets a chance to, you know, their opportunities. Last year, Liberty came on top. This year, right now, Beck is on top at halftime. So, good, clean rivalry.
Hoder's kick is fielded at the 15-yard line. And some running room, and if you needed something positive, there's a pretty good start there by Raymond Olivo, a sophomore speedster, who will give them good field position.
Nice job by Olivo going up through the middle of that line, or excuse me, up through the middle of that kickoff coverage.
T-Mobile once again sponsoring tonight's game as we continue to experience tremendous growth here in the Valley. We are currently seeking talented and dynamic individuals to join our team. T-Mobile, sponsors of Two Sports Football here tonight, and a penalty marker to start. Becca's trying to play with 12 again.
It's the second time they got called at that 12. The 12th man's usually the crowd. We're going to be telling that to Mr. Stone.
Yeah, I'm telling you. That's the 2 plays in a row, really. They got 12 guys out there. That's a good trick if you try it. Officials right on top of it. 5-yard penalty, 1st and 5. Keep it on the ground. Here's Sterner. And the fullback is into the secondary. He's got the 20. Sterner with good speed to the 5 and is knocked out of bounds. Fumbled the football, but he was marked out of bounds at the 4. Oh, the big guy can pick him up and put him down, Jim Wells.
We talked about it, Mike. I said the offensive line had to be addressed at halftime, and that time there was a gigantic call for Sterner to run through. And the big fullback, you know, really made the best of it. You talked about a couple weeks ago, Mount Carmel having those big backs. When you get a guy that size getting through there, once he starts rumbling, he can do some damage and he gets in the secondary.
Oh, it is a thing of beauty to see those big backs and those long legs. Watch them stretch them out. Oh, this is a thing of beauty. That's, you know, in the day and age of those shortest running backs, to see those big backs out there in the open field. Here's Sterner to finish what he started. He gets it to the 1. Terrific effort by that middle of the Liberty line as well on that play. Anchored by the center, Evan Bauer. Andres Morales, Alex Waddy, Mike McLaren, Will Severin, one of those interior linemen as well. They have it spotted outside the 1. Just trying to power it in off that left side. They've done it. Well, I'll tell you. I don't know what Tim Munchman said at halftime, but he couldn't have scripted it any better, Jim Wells. They're right back in the football game.
Well, it's all about attitude in high school, Mike. If you can change that attitude when you come out of that halftime locker room, that's the key. And you get people to believe that they can do what they needed to do and wake them up a little bit. That's what happens. And you see the offensive line coming off there. I see the coaches talking, Evan Bauer and those people you just talked about. Those are the people that have to make things happen here in the second half.
It's pretty big and important extra point for Mill. A little more patient, and that one is blocked. Breaking through there was number 77, Matt Kushman. Boy, this guy's had a heck of a year. Terrific student as well. He has a bright future in front of him.
Coach Mond's been a little upset on that one there because they're getting too much penetration. As you see the touchdown run here, Sterner putting his head down, getting good blocking up front, as you said about that offensive line. The kicking game here, though, has been a problem for him tonight.
Well, and Jim, I say a pretty big, big extra point for Mill, because in a game like this, who knows, it comes down to a field goal try. So Mill was more patient there, but that time that wasn't his fault. That was good penetration by Becca. So now, you have, if you're Liberty, you have a situation where your field goal kicker probably not feeling too comfortable right now. We'll see if it has anything to do with the outcome of the game, but a good start to the second half for the Hurricanes. Boy, in a year where storms have been abundant coming out of the south, and a lot of them wreaking havoc even all the way up here in the air, it's kind of fitting that Hurricanes are making some noise here in the Lehigh Valley.
Come on, kick off. Make a hit. Let's go. Make a hit. Let's go.
Kickoff's a short one. And a pretty good head of steam on the far side. On the return was Baylor. Hurricane scoring drive, 4 plays, 62 yards, 44 seconds. Sterner from 2 yards out. He, of course, set it up with that long run inside the 5. Good football player. And now we'll turn. It's the beauty of high school football. After making a run like now, you're playing defense. You don't see that in college.
Exactly.
This is special plays. McFadden bouncing to the outside, ran a long way and made it work for some positive yards. He'll gain 7. Sterner now with 86 yards of total offense, leading the way for Liberty High School.
You see he gets busted around on the inside, needs to go to the outside to get everything to happen. Nice job of getting that gain. A lot of yardage covered for number 21 there, Corey McFadden.
Looking in from the sidelines, a tee under center. Puts it in the belly of number 41, Matt Bishop, and Bishop finds some nice room off the right end and has it into Liberty territory inside the 45. Brought down by Justin Moss with help from Brendan Van Ackles.
Excuse me, Mike. They're getting a good seal off that corner and catching that corner on the opposite side real quickly, and that's giving them a lot of positive yards there. Big gain for the Hawks.
So both teams coming out here in the second half and moving the football. Full house or tight formation, I should say. And they keep it on the ground for a yard, perhaps 2. I'll tell you, it's tough with both teams. So many different ball carriers. You're not quite sure who has it. That was Bishop, I believe, on that carry.
Shut him down.
As Skatine comes in with the play. Number 6. Will Severin made that last stop for Liberty High School. Nowhere to go this time for Matt Bishop.
Matt Sterner with a good stop coming off that DN position that time, as you just talked about him going back to defense now after playing offense.
Well, Jim, we talked in our open that about their roster and having just 7 seniors. He's one of 5 who play. He's showing some senior leadership.
You see that just stands him up right there, right in the backfield, shoots through there.
Now the sense of urgency that a senior will play with in situations like this. Can't match that. And Sterner doing that just now. Here he is again in pursuit of Alex Attia. And Attia will get smacked out of bounds across the way. And a lot of that had to do with Sterner getting that good penetration again upfield, Jim.
That's what's getting the key now for the Hurricanes, getting that offensive rush, getting those people in there and forcing things to the outside. You see him push them outside and get across the field. Good pursuit. I'll tell you, their angles on the sideline pursuit have been very, very good here tonight.
I didn't get the number of that Mack truck that hit Tia as he was heading out of bounds. It was a good defensive tackle. Hoder on in punt formation. And doesn't get all of this one, and Liberty better watch out. And that's a good job as you saw them scatter. I think it was Van Akron. Whatever it is that you yell, it's an emergency call to tell everybody it is a short kick. And I think Van Akron alerted everybody to keep away. T-Mobile once again sponsoring tonight's football game. Our customer care organization shares a common mission in its delivery of world-class customer service. More information, there's the number on the websites if you're interested in joining their team. Liberty keeps it on the ground with Sterner. Again, working out of that wing T offensive set. Last time we saw them against Parkland, they had some injuries there and kind of banded that a little bit, but now we are seeing it a little bit more. Joe Dancho, number 57, to stop for Becca. Dancho and LeBar holding up pretty well here. Yeah, that's what's neat about a rivalry, Jim. You've been a part of so many of them. Players play at a higher level, and it's unexplainable. You play through injuries, you achieve, you do things that you haven't done. That ball's loose. That's anybody's football, and I'm sure I don't know. I think Liberty may have gotten back on it. That could have been devastating. Sterner again. Is that 81 off the bottom of that pile? Wow, this guy. Was it Van Akron? Yes, pulling guard actually got it.
Some communication or poor snap there to begin with, and then
it was Sterner.
Rugby scrum underneath. It was Sterner.
Sterner has his game on here in the second half. And now we've got a whistle and a timeout. Becca 2, 4, 6, 8. They keep trying. They had 12 more out there again. I give them credit. And of course would have gotten caught for an illegal substitution. That's the way that would have worked out. Let's update you as to what is going on. This is up to date, including last night's ball games. Easton, of course, at 4-0. Liberty Becca looking to keep pace. Northampton very much in the hunt. Emmaus, a double overtime winner against Deerfield. Whitehall, if they win tonight, still aboard. Congratulations to Kevin Ronalds on an impressive win last night over Parkland. But you look at, Jim, I think what's interesting, Liberty and Becca right here have the same 4 remaining teams. They will both play Easton. They will both play Northampton. They will both play Nazareth. And they both play Freedom. Both of them have 3 of their remaining 4 games right here at the stadium, because obviously when they play Freedom or the like, it can be a away game but a home game. The difference is Easton. Liberty plays them here while Becca plays them on the road. That's their remaining schedule after tonight. It's going to get very interesting. Person now from the shotgun, rolling right and guns in that direction, and has Van Akron. Beautiful pitch and catch. That's a prime-time throw by Dan Person. Jim, they haven't asked him to do a whole lot. They've brought him along on the slow side, but he has the gun. He has the ability.
Oh, he definitely has the ability to do it, and no better person to throw it out there than number 14, Van Akron. I'll tell you, you just stop with the accolade. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, every time you turn around, he's doing something positive defensively, positive offensively. And it's just, it's a real credit to Van Akron, the way he does his athletic skills.
7:30 to go, third quarter. Canes trail by 4. They go with the inside reverse, and Van Akron nowhere to go. Beautiful defensive effort once again by Matt Rice, number 26, the outside linebacker for the Golden Hawks.
That time the Golden Hawks stayed home, did a nice job up front. You're going to see they stay home in there, and you can see they flick off the blocks. Look at Newell, gives a good push along with number 26 in there, Matt Rice, we talked about. from his linebacker position.
The inability there to get Newell out of position, you know, really busted that play up, and that's what you want out of your defensive end.
He creates problems. I mean, even when he's not in on plays, he creates problems because he draws attention, and that's one of the things you have. That's a great attribute to have on your team.
Yeah, you can feel it starting to build here in this stadium. Person to throw on 2nd and long, and has his receiver. It's Olivo. And he looks like he might be a yard shy. Let's go down to Regina Potocny.
Thanks, Mike and Jim. And as you can tell, that Liberty went into the locker room at halftime. Their heads kind of were low. You might say that they were disappointed because they were down 10-0. They came out of locker room also quiet. Now you might say that they've been focused. They're doing good. They're driving on these drives, and they're coming out. They're actually making some noise, and this sideline down here is going a little bit crazy.
Well, they're going to go a little more wild as Sterner able to bulldoze over that left side for first down. And Jim, I don't know, I'm just watching after each and every play, getting a little testy down there.
Oh yeah, it's going to get that way, Mike. You know, they put a bunch in that backfield that time, had some good blockers up front, got the first down out of it.
Getting a little testy with 6:07 to go here in the third. Handling of the football there doesn't go for much. They gave it to the first guy through his Sterner once again. Couple of yards. Matt Kushner. All right, Kushner 6'4", 255 and a senior. Might be, Jim, might just very well be the most improved football player we've seen all year long.
It's funny, Mike, when you say that name to a lot of people, they go, who? You know, where was he at last year? Was he, you know, he played last year, obviously, but he has really come on this year and done a great job for them. And he's got that size at 6'4", 255.
Outstanding football game in their win against Emmaus. We named him Mariaco's player of the game. Person to throw on 2nd and 8 over the middle. Thrown a little low. Good effort. It was intended for Van Akron, whose number is slowly but surely becoming unreadable. Mark Skatine in coverage.
Good protection that time for Percy. He's got a nice pocket in here. Gets back there. It has some time. Delivers that ball just a little bit too quickly. I don't think Van Akron lost his footing a little bit. Good coverage back there by the Golden Hawks.
Third down and 9. Look out! Boom! Baby, it is Kyle Newell from the blind side of Dan Purcell.
I think I saw one of those hits the other night in that Jaworski highlight film, Mike, when we were at that Eagles thing the other night when Mike Hartenstein hit Jaworski. That was very similar. That blindsided, had no idea he was coming, came right off that corner. Hurricanes will be forced to punt.
10 sacks on the year coming into this game for Beckham. And indeed, Liberty will have to give it up. And pressure on the kicker. And this one goes straight up in the air. And again, look at the good special teams work by Beckham as they all cleared out the area. That is only going to be about a 1-yard punt. That went straight up in the air.
45-yard line.
Once again, want to thank the fine folks at T-Mobile. We offer a personalized approach to each and every customer. 877-300-JOBS, 8 a.m. to midnight for more information.
Between those two punts, Mike, I think we got a net gain of like 5 yards between the punt by Beck and the punt by Liberty.
Well, you're exactly right. And again, you know, I mean, you can attribute that to a little bit of pressure. And Atia, speaking of pressure, swarmed under by 3 Liberty defenders. And guess who's part of it? Number 81, Matt Sterner.
You're right. He's got his game face on here, Mike, as he comes flying off that corner once again. Atia had Newell down the sideline. He was looking down that right sideline because Newell's coming. But look at the pressure here by number 81. Just shades off that block by number 21 there, Corey McFadden, and blows right by and sacks the quarterback.
McLaren probably credited with the sack, but it was Sterner who was the first guy in the neighborhood. Loss loss of 7. Atia trying to run the option, shovels it to McFadden, who gets the 7 back plus maybe 1 more. It'll bring up 3rd down and 9.
Nice play by the Hawks. Lucky on the snap there, though, as they're going to the shotgun. The snap was a little high. Good job by Atia to get that ball in there. Nice little wrinkle by Coach Kendra out of the offensive package.
Trouble once again. He does have good speed. He gets a pretty good block, but not enough for a 1st down.
I talked about that center on the last one, Mike, and you see it once again. Drew Fantasia, the center. Good recovery by Atia. He had Morales bearing right down on him. Does a nice job of getting himself out to get to the sideline to get as much of the gain as he did. As you see, number 21, Rivera, put his helmet into him.
That's a nice collision. I'll tell you, this game is becoming very physical. This one has lived up to it. It's advanced billing, and it's a long way from being over with just under 3 minutes to go 3rd quarter. That's a good defensive stop by that Liberty defense after that short punt. But again, Jim, as this ball just barely into the end zone, that could have been a big play. Again, in a game like this, a turnover, a poor kick, it just changes field position, and now Liberty's got 80 yards to go. Let's update you now what's going on in the Colonial League. And, of course, next Friday night, we'll be live in Saucon Valley. 6-0 versus 6-0. How about Bangor at 5-1, keeping pace? Palisades, when's the last time you saw them up that high in the Colonial League standings?
Right,
that's
Mike,
good stuff. Absolutely. Wilson Northwestern continues to struggle. Notre Dame, a good football team. Penn Argyl, Caddy, Palmerton, Southern Lehigh, and Salisbury, your 12 in the Colonial League. Liberty keeps it on the ground and will lose a yard on 1st down. Kushner once again on the stop. I would think at some point, Jim, if I'm the Liberty coaching staff, I might have to worry about number 81, Sterner, starting to wear out a little bit. He's going both ways. He's come out of the locker room, as we mentioned, with a great deal of energy. Another one coming up. If you're enjoying this one, that promises to be a good one as well. I think I'm going to head home and relax and watch myself a good football game. It's a great time of the year. Approaching 2 minutes in a 10-6 football game. Purser to pass on 2nd and 7 and throws a perfect strike to Van Akron.
A good call by the offensive coaches there. They got Van Akron in the open, and you know he's got those bluish hands.
And there's an injured player. Skatine made the stop. There's an injured Liberty player.
It's a good job by him catching that football. You can see there on the ground, Mike, as he's rolling around, he cramped up a little bit. The trainer runs over there to stretch him out, getting that time of night where the cramps are going to take place.
Jim, that was a beautiful throw. That ball, that was well defended. They had a guy underneath, they had a guy deep, and Purser just laid it in there perfectly. Lehigh Valley Sports Scene weeknights at 6 and 9:30. We have an exciting show for this Monday. We'll have highlights of Pius X. We'll have highlights of Saucon Valley Notre Dame. We have highlights of Emmaus's thrilling overtime field hockey win over Parkland, which gives them outright 1st place. All that and a lot more. That'll be this Monday night, the Lehigh Valley Sports Scene, 6 and 9:30 weeknights. We having any fun yet, Jimbo?
Oh, this is great stuff.
Isn't this good stuff?
This is great stuff.
There's a heck of an athlete right there, Matt Seneca, former Central Catholic star, Penn Stater, and enjoying his job that's kind of his mission right there. Quarterbacks and Dan Purser, and doing a fine job with that young man as well. Has to be proud of that last throw he made. Purser, sophomore. Interesting with this game, 2 sophomore quarterbacks. Purser play action. He might just keep this one. He's got some running room. That's exactly what he does, and now a penalty marker on the play. As Purser was run out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Block in the back on Liberty.
Well, that was a design sweep as Persa comes around to the right side. You're going to see him coming down here.
Yep, pushed from behind.
See that block up top.
You know, and going back to big number 81 there, Sterner, look at all the running he's continued to do, Jim. You know, I look at that, that might be a tired mistake. He's a smart young man. He knew it right away. He knew he was guilty on that. Happened right in front of the bench. Tim Munchman calmed everybody down at that point. There's Billy Denofa as well, former head coach at Central Catholic. Offensive coordinator now. Usually up top.
He came down here in the third quarter.
Yeah,
I saw him coming down here.
Yeah, he's usually
right at the midpoint.
He's usually up top. First and now 14. As that penalty is marked off from the spot of the infraction. They're going to look for that little shuffle pass, and the Hawks are ready. That'll go as a completed pass to Van Ackeren. LeBar, part of the action is the middle of that Becca defense. Kyle Newell in there as well.
Good defense right there to shuffle pass inside. Very well defense by the Becca Golden Hawks. Good job staying home. That's what you want to see your defense do. Coach Schroeder got to be happy with him on that one.
You know, Jim, quietly, I don't know that we have seen Kyle Newell play a better all-around football game. 3 big catches in that first half in that drive. Defensive sack here in the second half. Some good stops. Another good play right there. Kyle Newell is really having an impact on this game. He almost knocked that down, but it's complete to Olivo, who's to the 10 and run out of bounds, excuse me, at about the 18. He picked up a great block around midfield.
And you're going to see one of those jacked up blocks from Oscar Rivera out on the wing. I think it was Oscar Rivera, or was it number 34, Andrew Lee, who gave him a ball. You're going to see it come out here. Good pass out of the pocket. And then you're going to see the defender slips, Olivo going downfield. And then you're going to see that block right in that point right there. And that was a beauty.
Olivo galloping down. They officially spot him out at the 20-yard line. What a close play all the way around. Newell nearly tipped that, and I'm not sure that he didn't get a piece of it. Defender slipped, and Liberty down 4 with time running out in the third quarter, driving for what would be the go-ahead score. Persa play action. They flood the zone, and he had some options. And I think that was intended downfield for number 80, John Corbix.
We had Lee underneath and Corbix down deep. Could have went to either one of them that time as he rolled out.
That's again for Corbix.
See big number 80 there, John Corbix.
He is a big guy, too. Watched him in warm-ups, 6'5", 225. He also one of those seniors, and there aren't a lot of them. 7 of them on the roster, 5 of them see playing time. Second down 10. Persa to throw. They're asking him to do a little more here in the second half. Nobody open, and now he does find Van Ackeren. Slips a tackle. Van Ackeren dives forward to the 5. He's got a first down.
I'll tell you, Mike, when you're choosing teams in the neighborhood, he'd be the first kid you want to pick. You know, I mean, come on, he does everything. Look at Persa, nice job of getting outside. He's getting a lot of pressure. He sees he's going to have to throw this at the last minute. On the run, right there, Van Ackeren. Look at, he avoids 1, 2, 3. Third guy finally gets him right there by the foot. And without that, it would have been a touchdown.
I really thought Persa had given up and was going to run on him. He did a marvelous job to create a little more time. They go to that full house backfield. And not enough time to get it off. That'll do it for 3 quarters. They'll march the length of the football field when we come back. The final period in the 10-6 game. Becca leads. 12 minutes of regulation football remain, and it has been one as advertised. The scoreless first quarter was followed by a 10-0 Becca. Second period, Liberty scores 6 in the third. And that's the way we move into the fourth quarter, but Liberty on the move. They've got first and goal with a football at the Bethlehem Catholic 5-yard line.
The last time we saw they brought that jumbo package in with Morales in the backfield. They got it in there again.
They'll go to Sterner.
Sterner on the carry.
Tough job for the officials to get a spot on that when they blow the whistle. Sterner, a second effort to maybe squeeze out a yard. Maybe. And it looks like they're giving him 2. Joe Dancho. Oh, I'm impressed. Dancho and LeBar, I'll tell you. 2 young men.
You see him get up, get up, get up, get up. He's still going, Mike. That's the thing. He said he's run out of gas. I think he found an extra tank all of a sudden.
You think they refueled him on the sidelines during those quarters. You find yourself running on adrenaline, and I wouldn't be surprised. He's the deep back once again. And this time they run him off the right tackle. And he's very close.
Tackle by Bishop.
Liberty has never led in this football game. Yeah, look at Sterner. I'm talking about him getting tired. You see him? Big number 81 in there. He says, keep going. Give me again. I'll get you there. You got to love that attitude. Time to be tired when the football game's over. It is Sterner once again. Still not there.
Sterner carries to the goal line.
It's going to probably be on the 1-foot line, Mike. You're going to see inside here. Great job of everybody coming up. Number 26, especially there. Matt Rice.
Somebody got his legs taken out. I would think if you did that 3 times, you got to go with it 4 times. They're going to discuss it. They're going to discuss it, as we'll discuss T-Mobile. We offer a personalized approach to each and every customer. Call our employment hotline, T-Mobile, 877-300-JOBS. Speak with an employment recruiter, 8 a.m. to midnight. www.tmobile.com/jobs. I want to thank T-Mobile for showing this kind of an interest in our local athletes and in our community. You're looking for some work, there's an opportunity for you. Game tonight stands for all that is good about the sport of high school football.
Well, Mike, this is one of those times that this is what you lifted all those weights for all summer long.
4th and goal from the 1. Same formation. They've split the 2 backs. They go to Sterner. He's not there yet. He's denied. Becca has stopped Liberty at the goal line.
He tried to send him outside, and he didn't make it. Great job by the Becca defense to hold him, and they denied him 4 times inside the 10-yard line.
A terrific defensive effort by the guys in brown. Get another look. Is it Bishop? Bishop is there from behind. It was actually number 40, Sal Crivalera, who stopped his forward momentum, and then he got some help from some friends. Well, that's part of the battle, Jim. That's the good news. The bad news now is you've got the football, and it's within inches of that goal line. So still not out of the woods yet for Bethlehem Catholic. A T under center, and he'll just quarterback sneak it to try and give them a little bit more operating room. That is twice in this football game, Jim Wills, that Liberty has moved the ball to the 5 in that same area down there and then come up with no points.
Exactly. That's the frustration part of it, Mike. You said the bad thing for Beck is they have the ball on the 1-yard line, but the good thing is they now have swung momentum and the mental momentum in their favor, and that's the thing that's very important here with under 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
I believe that's McFadden twisting and turning and looking for some room. It was. He's got it to about the 5. Brian Rhea 88 on the tackle. Clock moving now at 9:14. Becca got out to a 10-0 lead. Chuck Sawney. And Tim Muntzman. Atia to throw. There is a penalty marker down on the play. We'll wait for the call. I think this might be against Becca, because there wasn't any contact. Yeah, this is against Becca. They got an illegal man downfield.
I was going to say, Mike, we could ill afford another one of those pass interference penalties.
And it will be declined, so Becca will have to punt from their own end zone.
Fourth down. Been accurate. Deep for Liberty. Over in formation.
Well, some options now for Liberty. We go after the punter. Hoder is standing just a yard from the back of his own end zone. And the snap becomes very important. It's a good one. And good execution by Becca. And Hoder drills one. I don't know how if he had it straight enough. And they're marking it and bringing it in at the 31-yard line. He hit it pretty well. Had it angled away from Van Ackeren, but just turned it over and it wound up going out of bounds. So Liberty will have the football just outside the 30.
Former athletes there, Andre Pope, Moravian, George Asso right here in New Hampshire.
You know, Jim, you and I were walking around the field prior to the game looking at the coaches on both teams.
I forgot about those two.
Well, how about it? Boy, we could have a heck of a football game here between the coaching staffs, couldn't we?
Oh, man, what a game it could be.
Yeah, you can't even start naming the talent that's on both these staffs.
You got 3 ex-NFL people to start with.
Yeah. Purse's throw, incomplete. Clock stopped with 8:33 to go.
Art Owens, Dan Kendra, and Bo Orlando to start with.
Yeah.
That's a great way to start the game.
Just to start. That's exactly right. Major college football players on both sides. Of course, Matt Seneca at Penn State. You can't even start mentioning them because you're going to miss guys. The 2 head coaches were pretty darn good football players. Chuck Sonnen at Lehigh. Tim Muntzman at Lafayette.
Boy, how about, there's another built-in rivalry.
Absolutely, absolutely. You go up and down the list. Second down 10. Purser from the shotgun. Trying that little bubble screen. Olivo, who's got a big catch in this game already. A couple yards after the catch is brought down by Newell. And there is an injured Bethlehem Catholic player.
44 down there, John Vicente.
Let's go down to Regina Potuchny.
Thanks, Mike. And what an emotional game this is. It's one sideline going crazy, the next sideline going crazy. They don't know what's going on. And, you know, it's just an emotional, physical game like we expected it from the beginning. Before the game, head coach from Sanshaw from Becca told us that Dan Shaw and Labar, number 57 and 54 from the lines, the right guard and left guard, were a little bit banged up. They had some knee problems, and they weren't sure how long they'd be in the game. They knew they would be starting, but weren't sure how long they'd game. It's a little bit left in the 4th quarter, and they are still in. In a game like this, you need those kind of tough players that are going to stick with you guys.
They have hung in there real nice. John Lucente, the injured player. We hope that not as serious as it looks right now. Again, want to thank T-Mobile. Want to get more from your career? Try customer service with us. T-Mobile, 877-300-JOBS. Speak with an employment recruiter, 8 a.m. to midnight. www.tmobile.com/jobs. Well, I think a good sign here.
There's what's good right there, Mike. You missed that. Tim Muntzman going out, helping Chuck Sonnen pick up number 44, John Lucente. That's just what you were talking about. Everything that's good about high school football right there.
Yeah, they're 2 class acts, head coaches. And they've put on quite a show here for the city of Bethlehem. And All of our viewers watching tonight's ball game live on 2 Sports. Next week, unbeaten, Northern Lehigh, Saucon Valley. Deeroff Whitehall. That's going to be a heck of a football game, Deeroff and Whitehall. Huskies still looking for their first win. Persa has Van Akron to the 20. And that will be good for a Liberty first down.
Good protection by the offensive line once again as Persa rolls out. Puts it into steady hands of Van Akron.
Clock running now under 8 minutes. They keep it on the ground this time, Van Akron. For maybe 4. Well, I'll tell you, there's 4, 5, 6 Liberty uniforms you can no longer read the numbers on. Mike Labar on the tackle. That was Van Akron on the carry, wasn't it? Yes. Yeah, now I see he's turned a little bit. You got to look at the number. Persa play action. Now under some duress, guy needs to get rid of it. And does a good job to avoid what would have been a very costly loss.
We see bootlegs round to the right side. You're going to see that he gets a lot of pressure coming in from that outside by number 77. We talked about him all night. Matt Kushner does a nice job of getting to the quarterback and forcing that play to happen.
Liberty player with I think a leg cramp in the end zone might be Corpix. You know, Jim, we talk a lot about a quarterback with a strong arm. There's a situation where the strong arm of Persa didn't result in an interception, but saved him a sack. Because if he doesn't have the strength in that arm, he's going to get called for intentional grounding, because he was able to, under some duress, get the football downfield and in the neighborhood of a potential receiver.
We're looking at about a 15-yard sack on that play as well.
Exactly. He goes quickly. And the pass is caught, but they're going to be short of a first down. Probably going to have to go. That is Andrew Lee on the reception. Well, I shouldn't say that. 6:52.
You see that Lee gets the ball right away. Looks a little bit of a shaky catch, but finally gets and pulls it in.
Real good pursuit. First in was number 33, Mike Bishop. Canes will indeed go on 4th and 4. They need to get it to the 10-yard line. Persa decisive. He's got it. Oliva's got a lot more. And a touchdown.
Great job by Oliva. Did exactly what he needed to do. Got to the marker he wanted to get to. And then had the presence of mind to keep the balance and get up and go into the end zone. Great pass by Dan Persa as well.
And he may be shaken up. No, he's all right. He's just coming over to spend a quiet moment. Mill on now for the extra point. Liberty has taken their first lead, and there's a penalty marker down. Boy, these extra points and field goals and kicking game have been an adventure.
I think they might be looking at 12 guys again on the field, Mike, for Bethlehem Catholic, and that's what it is.
Well, that moves them. See, I don't think you want to go for 2 here. Well, it gives you a 4-point lead, but you want to be up 3. You've got to go, that wouldn't. You know, a 4-point lead would take a field goal out of it, obviously, but still, that was. And Mill gets it through the pipes.
Well, the other thing is you get confidence in this guy back.
Exactly.
That's the important thing. You get confidence in your kicker, and that's what you want to have happen.
And they are working on Dan Persa a little bit.
You see Levo, it's almost going to come down there. Look at the hand come down. That's what you want to teach your receivers. Levo, only a sophomore, does a great job at 5'9", 145, keeping his balance, putting his hand down, and getting himself into the end zone.
What's the chances we make that call again somewhere in the next better than 2 years, 3 years? Olivo, only a sophomore. Persa, a sophomore. Liberty program went close to 2 decades without beating Bethlehem Catholic. They didn't play for a 4-year stretch during the breakup of the old East Penn Conference. We knew the rivalry last year with Liberty winning in a thriller, and this one has been every bit the same, but with a lot more at stake. You know, when you dust it all off and the rivalry is, you're finished talking with it, the winner once again still has a great shot, and then the loser is not out of Lehigh Valley Conference championship contention. On the return is Bailey, mishandled it and cost him.
And take a guess, Mike, who is on the tackle? Number 14 once again.
And Akron on special teams. I tell you, there are a lot of folks on both sides of this field here going to get a good night's sleep.
People at home are going to think I'm circling Van Akron's girlfriend on the screen there.
7 plays, 31 yards. Persona Olivo, 14 yards. Extra point. Here's Newell. And he may have lost a yard or 2. Each team has 2 remaining timeouts. Number 86 on the defensive tackle was Richard Jarnigan.
I think Newell's got the cramp there. You can see it there. Trainer comes out to work on Kyle Newell there.
One more time for T-Mobile here tonight, and again want to thank them for helping us with our coverage here of this football game. Call our employment hotline today and speak with an employment recruiter between 8 a.m. and 12 midnight. Call us today, 877-300-JOBS, or visit the website at www.tmobile.com/jobs.
Next Sunday, October 17th, Italian
And they're going to call both teams over to the sidelines now while they work on Newell.
7 p.m. The Bethlehem Catholic Cafeteria.
So now they're calling both teams back.
Mention how both teams play the same remaining schedules against the same team, obviously on different nights.
There's still time.
Becca has Nazareth next Saturday.
At TI Sports Corner.
Freedom in 2 weeks, Northampton in 3 weeks before ending the regular season at Easton. For Liberty, Northampton here next week, then at Nazareth, home with Easton, and then of course their traditional close with Freedom. Penalty marker down, stops this play before it gets started. Dead ball foul, movement against Becca.
Well, we knew that Liberty's going to be sending a few people in there. Tia saw it coming. Once again, running out of that shotgun formation. All it was cranked up to be, and more.
I knew there was a reason I couldn't sleep last night, up at 5 o'clock in the morning reading over game notes for this one. Tia has his man back to the original line of scrimmage. Pass complete to Hodar, who's now in there, and brought down right away by Rivera.
Good job, good protection. Tia just floats it over the middle. Rivera takes Hodar down back at the line of scrimmage. Once again, the Hawks are going to operate out of shotgun. 4 receivers.
They need 9 and never got the snap off the ground.
They've had some problems tonight with that snap. You go into that shotgun formation, everything gets a little tighter. That snap never made it off the ground.
Well, Well, Chuck Sonnen talked about it at the half coming out. We played a good 24 minutes. We need to play 24 more, and so far now it's becoming unraveled on them a little bit. Had that big goal line stand, but couldn't stop the Hurricanes on 4th, and it was about 5 yards. Not only got the first down, got a touchdown. And now faced with 3rd and 14. Atia decides to run and has them to within 10 yards. This is why I'm up here, and I'll let them work on it. They're going to punt it away because 4:24, you do have 2 timeouts. I think the right call, Jim, with the 2 timeouts. You need to stop them from getting a first down, obviously. Now Liberty's going to burn one.
As you see here, you're going to see Alex Wadia take down Alex Atia.
And Liberty uses a timeout. As Coach Muntzman was not happy with the personnel that he had out there for the kick return. Then there was obviously some indecisiveness on their part because they didn't know if Becca was going to try and go on 4th down. So certainly understandable.
Right there you see Bo Orlando, one of the men mostly responsible for that defensive secondary this year. 10 years in the NFL. As we said, Mike, a lot of ex-NFL players in this game tonight. A lot of pro experience. And you're seeing the results of it. Great job by both coaching staffs here tonight.
Van Akron retreats to his 46-yard line. Hodo standing at his own 4. Strong leg, gets it to turn over. Van Akron fields it on a bounce and scurries back up to about the 47, 48-yard line. 4 minutes, 3 seconds. Lehigh Valley Sports Scene. Weeknight 6 and then again at 9:30. We're on the scene to keep you informed. And if you're enjoying this one and watching live on a Saturday night, we've got another coming, Whitehall and Central Catholic. Hurricanes trying to run out the clock. Here's Andrew Lee with his best run of the football game. We highlighted him in the open, Jim. He's been a little quiet, at least offensively. Mark Skatine on the tackle.
Good job by the right side of the offensive line. Gave a nice hole to run through. You're going to see him come around here. Look at that outside there, number 68, as we've talked about before. Big Will Severin giving him a good block to let that hole open up, and Andrew Lee makes the most of it.
Liberty now needs to show good clock management. Persett taking his time and goes to Sterling. I don't know if you could say enough about number 81 and the tempo and the mindset that he set out here in the second half for Liberty. They were shut out 10-0 in the first half. They are now shutting out Becca 13-0 in the second half. Clock under 3 minutes. Run a sweep, and it is Lee once again. And a good gain on second down. Let's go down to Regina Potuchny.
Thanks, Mike. And as you just mentioned, that we're under 3 minutes in the first half, and Coach Kendra just told quarterback Adam Atia that he needs to watch his time and be careful of the clock. And as time is getting critical in this game, so he's going to have to make sure that he pays attention to that.
Well, that's if they can get the football back. Clock stopped now. As I think that timeout was charged to Becca because each team now with 1 on the board. So they're going to need to stop. Liberty within perhaps getting this first down of winning the football game. at the score by quarters. If you're enjoying this one, you can watch it tape delayed Sunday, October 10th at 1:30. We'll also replay Whitehall Central at 7 o'clock, the Eagles meet and greet, and at 9:30, WXW Pro Wrestling. Andrews has a first down and more. Dragged down and a touchdown, saving tackle by Rice, but not before Andrews has it inside the 15-yard line.
Great job by the right side again. Mike McLaren, number 54, opening up a nice hole on the outside. You're going to see those guys coming out. Here they go, 68-7, 54 McLaren. There they go. Andrew Lee just follows behind and does the rest on his own.
Liberty faithful realizing the situation now with 2:14. Becca can only stop the clock one more time. Van Akron does a smart thing to turn it upfield and stay in bounds. Looked like he might get veered to the sidelines. Dylan Cacciatore on the tackle.
We talked about opportunities for Van Akron, Ivy League, Patriot League schools, Mike. Very well in the classroom. Nothing, you would expect nothing less than that move right there.
1:30 as Persa continues to look at the clock. And it is Lee, and Lee has the end zone. Touchdown, Liberty.
Andrew Lee carries for the touchdown on a 5-yard run.
Credit that offensive line once again, Mike, for seeing those blocks through. Nice holes open up. Andrew Lee does the rest on his own. Took the team on his back on this drive alone.
8-yard touchdown run by Andrew Lee. No attempt to point after.
We've got a muff again on the point after.
Akron's pass is incomplete.
And it remains a 9-point Liberty advantage.
You see that whole side. Look at that line collapse down there. Look at McLaren out in front. See the guards pulling, everybody getting off their blocks. Kudos to that offensive line.
Well, after going close to 20 years and not getting one win against Becca, this program looks to try and get back-to-back wins against their arch rivals from just down the street. I'll tell you, you don't even have to gas the bus to make this trip, do you?
Kick for Liberty.
Oh, very, very close.
You could get there from Becca and with fumes to get here to Liberty. More often than not, whether it be an Alan Deeroff, Liberty Freedom, the Becca Liberty, these games live up to what you might expect. Phillipsburg, Easton, Olivo, and Rivera, the special teams tackle for Liberty High School. Desperation time now for Becca as Atia is back out on the field. Newell, as they go up top, and the pass is completed to Cacciatore. Newell was in the slot on that side, and the Hawks were working their hurry-up offense. Rivera on the stop for Liberty.
Second down and 1.
Tia throwing the out intended for number 3, Eric Blasco. Blasco's a junior, 5'11", 180-pound wide receiver.
That Liberty Hurricane drive there, 6 plays, 53 yards, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Andrew Lee with the 8-yard TD run to finish it off.
And Lee had over 40 of those yards rushing. Quiet throughout most of the night. But again, Jim, it's something that, you know, we discussed throughout the night, and it can be said about both teams. They really do it, you know, offensively with a number of different players. You know, wouldn't be surprising at the end of the season to see neither of these teams with an offensive player with real glowing offensive stats, but it also wouldn't be surprising to see maybe 3 or 4 of them with 600, 700, 800 yards, whether it be rushing, receiving, or what have you.
It's been by committee on both sides of the ball. You're right.
That can go a long way in this sport. Atia's pass nearly intercepted. Defended by number 88. No, number 86, Justin Moss. Actually, Jarnigan's wearing 86. They made that announcement a little while ago. Richard Jarnigan is wearing number 86. He must have had that 87 ripped maybe in the first half. Atia looking underneath. Pass is complete, but Cacciatore with nowhere to run. Atia on 3rd down. Down the field to Cacciatore once again. He's in the Liberty territory and has enough for a 1st down. They'll stop the clock with 16 seconds while they move the chains across the way.
Nice job of getting that ball by Dylan Cacciatore. Good job of Atia getting that ball out there.
Atia has it intercepted.
That's going to be Rurak, I think. Brian Rurak.
Then Rurak, 88.
I think that's who it was.
It is. Time will expire on the Rurak interception. Liberty comes from 10-0 down at half to win this football game, 19-10. What a thing of beauty. You have to feel for Chuck Sonnen and his coaching staff. You know, it is the unfortunate part of it all. You know, coming on this field that someone's going to leave disappointed. But he said it appropriately at the half when he talked to Regina. We need to play a good second half of football. And, you know, I don't know if Liberty just didn't allow them to do that, but they weren't able to sustain drives. Field position favored Liberty throughout most of the second half, and the Canes played with great sense of urgency after trailing by 10-0 at the half. We're going to take a timeout, meet our Yakos player of the game after this. Your final as you look at Tim Muntzman now meeting with his Hurricanes 6-0, and Jim, a lot of talk going back to 1970, and boy, you think of some of the players on that team. Mike Hartenstein, Rich Wesco. That was a great group. Tommy Donchez. There's some good football players. These guys, it's been a long time. I'm not sure what the funny moment is there, but it is a light moment right now for Coach Munson. It was interesting. We talked about this as their first Saturday game of the year, and I thought coming over here, that could be a concern. They went to a movie last night as a football team. They showed up for a brief practice and film session this morning. Obviously, they used the day wisely, Jim, and rested because they needed it. It was a long night.
Definitely, Mike. They did a great job in all phases here in the second half, and it is a two halves of a ball game, Coach Stone, and I know that's a nightmare of every coach, that when you come out with that lead at halftime, you hope that that continued momentum goes with you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, our Yakos player of the game is going to be Dan Purcell. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's first of all go down with winning head coach Tim Muntzman.
I'm here with Coach. Coach, you shut out the first half, came back, shut them out in the second half. How does it feel?
Like I just told the team, we've gone through everything this year. 3-0 win at Parkland, overtime win against Allen, and now first time we behind in a while. We bounced back, came to play. You know, they physically handled us in the first half, and we made a decision at halftime that we weren't going to let it slip by, and we came out, punched them in the mouth, and thank God, put it away.
2 years in a row, 9-6 last year, 19-10 this year. Both great games. You knew they were going to be close.
They're an outstanding football team. You know, all we heard about was the level of competition they played. We wanted to prove a point that maybe we're playing some good football in the Lehigh Valley also, and I think we showed that tonight.
Great job, Coach. Good luck next week. Mike and Jim, back up to you.
All right, thanks, Regina. We'll hear from Daniel Purcell, our Yakos player of the game, in a moment, hopefully. But, you know, I think, Jim, and, you know, you talked about it in the win against Parkland. You know, one of the differences with this year's Liberty team is they seem to enjoy the action. They want to mix it up a little bit. And, you know, you don't come back from what happened to them in the first half of this game unless you want part of the action. And, you know, that stick-to-itiveness and hanging in there paid big dividends. You know, I know we're going to name Dan Purcell, our Yakos player of the game, but, you know, there's so many players. You know, we both talked about Brendan Van Akron in the football game. He played the entire line. I mean, there's guys on Becca's side. You know, Matt Sterner, you know, he was our player of the game against Parkland. He kind of set the tone in that third quarter.
He did. He came out and he did a great job, and they came out totally focused in the second half. That was the difference, and the difference in this group is that, the mental difference. You know, as you said, they went to movie together. This team has a lot of chemistry. I know that's an overused word in sports, but they do have a lot of chemistry, and that's one of the things that's really helped them pull through these things. And, you know, they went through a lot of things together, and in the second half as they really showed it.
Yeah, you could say whatever you want about all of the juniors and underclassmen on a team. It is senior leadership that wins these kind of football game, and he provided it in a big way. Let's go now to our Yakos player of the game.
That's right, Mike. I'm here with Person. Yeah, 6 yards passing in the first half, 132 in the second half for a total of 138. What did you guys do in halftime?
Well, number 53, Waddy, got us all fired up. And then we came out of the gates and we pounded them, we threw the ball, we ran the ball, we did everything we could. Sterner set the table with the first play of the game, and it just went downhill from there.
You knew you had to come back out in the second half and actually step up and play. They kind of manhandled you in the first half, but you really took care of them in the second.
Yeah, we did. We just came out, played hard, did what we do. We got to play like that the whole game, though. It just has to take over like that.
6-0 now, and it's been a bunch of tough games. Did you ever think that you guys would be 6-0?
I knew we would back in preseason. I knew we would. We were going 6-0 since lifting, since last season ended, the last game. We were going 6-0. Doesn't matter. We're not losing.
Great, and then, well, Jim and Mike, you heard it from him, and they're not losing, so hopefully they'll keep up their game for next week and the rest of the season.
All right, thanks, Regina. Jim Wills, you coached that young man in middle school. You're not surprised to hear those words. And again, they come to a football game now expecting to win, and, you know, that's what happened here tonight.
Exactly, and that's what I said to you last year. We were on that field the same way. I said, I know there's one guy in this field that knows he's going to win this game, and, you know, and that was him, and that's the way he is. And, you know, what he just said there is him. That's not a front. That's him. I mean, and he believes, you know, and that's the thing, and that's the difference between, in high school football, a lot of the times, the mental aspect. When you believe you got a chance, you are in the ball game.
Yeah, I think very important, too, on the other end of it, Chuck Sonnen, and you know what he's got to say to his team. We're not out of this yet. We still have to play Easton. There's a long way to go. They have to play Easton. A tough loss here tonight, but I fully look for Chuck Sonnen and those Golden Hawks to continue to play real good football. First half tonight might have been their best of the year. They couldn't quite do it in the second half. Lived up to what we expected here tonight. We congratulate both teams, both coaching staffs. 19-10, our final. Regina Patuchny, Jim Wills, Boyd Ewell, our director and producer tonight, Mr. Andy Himmelwright. If you're watching this ball game live on a Friday night, we've got more coming your way. Whitehall Central Catholic, on behalf of all the staff and management at 2 Sports Service Electric, I'm Mike Zambelli. Thanks for watching Lehigh Valley Conference Football. Have a great night.